to get into pick and ban for game 3 here between Heretics and
There's the
BDS.
I was in my head, I was like, it's so quiet. Oh.
Yeah, I do miss the bed. This is a good music bed.
I miss Hysterics video bed. That's what I miss. But
do not look up Hysterics the bed on YouTube. It is an experience you will never forget, and you probably don't need to repeat. Do it. It's his birthday today as well. Yeah. If that video could go up like 100 views on his birthday, he'd be so happy.
He would be. He would be thrilled.
Hysterics, is it Hysterics Casts?
I think so.
That's right.
Yeah.
Hysterics Casts the bed. Nidalee, Zyra, and Jace ban.
Naafiri!
Maokai, Ezreal, Vivan, and there is the Naafiri lock for Heretics.
This is sick. I think Naafiri is actually incredibly strong. We just haven't really seen teams, one, being able to pick her up because she's banned in a couple of them, but also the ability to play around this champion and set up a draft that enables her is crucial. So I'm curious as to how they want to try and play this. Like, we've seen picks like Ahri be pretty crucial in being able to play through that mid lane with her, getting push. So I think we're more than likely going to see an Ahri come through here. And also then, maybe even something like a Gnar for Carlsen in that top side, just to be like, hey, we've got 2 solo lanes now, you can 100% play around.
Yeah, she thrives in skirmishing, she thrives in invading the enemy jungle and just eviscerating them. And it puts a lot of weight on Sheo's shoulders as well. As you say, we've only seen 2 Naafiris. We had Yikes Naafiri that did go pretty well, and then we had Razork's Naafiri that did not go well at all. 113 is going to pick the Lillia into it seems, alongside that MF. Remember, Lillia's Sleep, the Loathing Lullaby, her ultimate, does not get cancelled by MF ultimate. So if you get 3 or 4 people inside that, all asleep, bullet time on top of it, that is a hell of a lot of damage.
Oh, Flakked eyeing up the Kalista here, so something that could give you a lot of pressure on the bottom side. He is also a driving player, but I do like it. Like, raw aggression basically on the map to play alongside this Naafiri, set up for a lot of those terror dives would be perfect, but there's an Gnar. Do we get the Ahri? Is it going to be the combo we talked about?
When Hysteric says nah, do you just think he's saying no?
Yes,
no,
100%, yeah.
That makes sense. Yeah. It could be the Ahri, as you say. Sorry, my brain is very much
that would also, you know,
right now.
You need me to listen to Hysterics a lot of the time.
True.
And I find that you kind of just let him do his thing, and then you kind of slowly bring him back into the conversation when you're needed.
That tends to be what colorcasters do to play plays most of the time. It's not going to be Draven in the bot lane. Instead, the Ashe does give you great pick potential. Also allows you to scout out the Lillia in her jungle with that hawk shot.
Yeah, I think it's also just the range that you have can at least help out a little bit in trying to control that bot lane set up then for plays again for Naafiri, but I'm still curious as to what they want to try and bring for Kamiloo, because I think you can then ban away some of these facilitators in the mid lane and make it a little bit more difficult for Sheo to get the job done. And we also kind of heard the desk already say Sheo has looked better on more facilitating picks. Like, and I don't think this is a knock at Sheo, it's just what his team needs from Sheo. So I think this is also going to be an interesting game to see how the team now adjusts to playing for the jungle role rather than just playing for the individual lanes.
Yeah, very much agree with you. Leona, the last lock for BDS. Expect a Braum ban here with the MF already in. And Braum Ashe, a very strong combination in the bot lane. If you're pushed up, as soon as you get tagged, you just have nowhere to go. You're slowly walking your way back to your tower. Tristana, the ban from Heretics, trying to get rid of some of those AD mids because you already have magic damage coming out from the jungle.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out what you actually try and take into the support role, because there's so many of them gone. Like Alistair, Nautilus, Rel already taken off the board. If you ban her, maybe even Rakan, or maybe you just want to try and get rid of the Lulu or something here, but that also isn't really great for Heretics wanting the setup. So it's a bit of an unusual one. Maybe we're just going to look at something like a Nico for Stend, or something a bit like off the beaten path.
You've got Nico, you have the possibility of a Pike, although I don't love it too much. I wouldn't mind Bard. I feel like Bard could be okay here, but you might just be leaving your Ashe a little bit to their own devices in the bot lane.
Poppy?
Poppy is okay, but only really working into the Leona right now, right?
Yeah, exactly, yeah. But at least you can try and interrupt, like, the MF if she sets up with
but that, I think Bard is a little easier.
Yeah, I do agree,
right?
yeah.
So we'll see. BDS here likely to pick their top laner, already knowing that it's going to be into the Gnar. BDS and Sion. Makes a lot of sense. Irrelevant's going to be on something that doesn't have as much individual agency, but will be able to tank through that Gnar in the early game and just clear out the waves as they come to his tower.
Yeah, Sion also just incredibly strong at the moment. Like, he is great in team fights. It's very difficult to get through him, and especially when you've got Ashe there. She's not exactly a tank killer, so I think this will set him up nicely. Rakan, we already talked about, does make sense when it wasn't banned away and the Shogat was taken, so Yeah, and then I think you still just go for the Ahri in the mid lane, and you've set up at least for strong engage coming through from your bottom side. Ahri also with the charm for follow-up. Like, it all kind of rolls into each other nicely.
Yeah, I think the only risk here is that Rakana's primary engage can be a little tricky. You're looking at an Arrow or a Mega Gnar or an
I think you are
Charm.
playing more for pick, though,
Yeah,
this style of comp. And also when I see Naafiri, right, it kind of works out a little bit better for her when you can play for that style. So I think it's now a very clear break of Heretics want to find those moments to find picks. BDS want to set up objectives and just play for team fights, especially if you're going to go for something like the Cassiopeia. But
I think it's going to be Ryze.
I think you're just fine with Ryze, yeah.
Ryze is nice into the Cassio. She jumps forward. You room prison her up. It's something Nuke played a lot near the start of his career. I'm trying to remember if he's played it much recently. Let's have a quick mosey. Last played it back in 2023, so it's been a while since we've last seen Nuke on it. He wasn't the best at this champion, but back in 2023, I think you could say
he's a different
portion
player
of his career. Was kind of still trying to find his feet in the LEC.
I mean, we kind of talked about him being at that stage, like the Ryze, the Syndra, kind of having struggles with his champion pool. But you look at the player that he's grown into, like 100%. He's one of the strongest mid laners that we have in the LEC. His champion pool is great. He has a ton of flexibility now, both AD and AP. Like, he has really stepped into a player of his own. It's just now also on BDS, he's had to step into a different role in the team, which is definitely changing things for him. And we'll have to see how that actually fleshes out for BDS over the course of this split.
Let's get into the final game of this series, as Heretics are looking to pick up their second win in the LEC Spring Split. BDS looking to limp towards their third, is what I would say. Like, the thing about it is, sometimes when you're struggling as a team and you have internal issues due to shot calling or whatever, oh wait, TH, you can't lose because he won't marry me. You have to win because she won't marry me. So you're not getting married unless Heretics win. Okay.
Damn. Okay.
That's a choice.
No pressure, guys.
But is it today, or can they win at any point in the split? Because if it's specifically today, you're just not getting married, most likely, let's be honest. Did I just get booed?
You got booed.
Yeah. Understandable.
Yeah,
I'll take that.
Yeah.
Oh, boo.
30 seconds until minions.
But I'm sure they'll pick up a win sometime this split. What do you think compositionally? Do you think that the pick skirmish heavy from Heretics plays well into what BDS have?
I think it's very difficult to play this out as Heretics. Like, this is a composition that requires like a lot of playing away from what Heretics classically do, which is playing toward Sheo. It's about getting vision and then setting up for those picks, using Flakked as that kind of tool, but that's not what Heretics have excelled at, and it's not what their playstyle has even been. Like, when you think of Heretics winning games, it has been through individual performers in team fights, so I don't think you have as much of that in this Heretics lineup, so I think it should be a difficult one, but I'm open to being surprised. Like, I think this would be, if Heretics can play this composition well, I think it's going to be such a cool addition to what they can bring to the table.
I 100% agree with you there. I think it's the sort of comp where we don't recommend it to lower tier teams, or teams lower in the standings, because it's a little bit more tricky to enact. You have to play around vision really well, you have to play around pick really well, whereas BDS, I think, have a bit more of a traditional front to back. You've got Sion and Leona as your front line, they engage as well. You've got Nuke, who will do the push roam strategy that we always see on Ryze, just get out on the map as quickly as he can, and then not the most traditional DPS AD carry, but still an AD carry that can put quite a lot of damage down. For now, though, the jungler's starting on opposite sides of the map. 1-1-3. There's the Zenith blade forward. Parus looking to hit level 2 here. Shield of Daybreak's going to go down onto Flakked as well and chunk him out. Ice with that love tap gets Flakked down to about 300 HP.
A lot of damage gone down. Heretics not respecting the level 2, about to be ticked over. Thought they could fight for it, but now Flakked going to be on the back foot, and that's exactly what you don't want if you're an Naafiri, is like seeing these early trades go poorly for your laners. You want to have some lane that you can try and play through, and even the top side irrelevant, getting at least at the moment the push in. Maybe this is where Carlsen can try and hold the wave in a position that Sheo can look for an early gank top end, especially as 1-1-3 is pathing down.
So Hawkshot going out from Flakked to spot 1-1-3 on his Wolves. Immediate pings as well from Heretics, just so they know exactly where that Lillia is. Nuke doing a good job in the mid lane here of harassing down Kamiloo, but is a couple of CS down and will get charmed, and the good job that Nuke is doing has been equalized by Kamiloo.
Yeah, it looks like Sheo just going to finish off his camps on the top side. There's a ward placed by 113, just the entrance, or well, exit into River. But I don't know if... I don't think you're really in a position, Sheo, to get this early playoff with just the way the waves have been set up now. So it looks like it'll be a bit of a quiet early game once more.
No real surprises there. And Naafiri very strong in the early game, but kind of like this should scale really well as well. If you get a few kills around the level 4 to level 8 mark, you can really snowball the game away from your opponents. One of her key points of her kit is her ability to eviscerate, jump over one of these walls with that kind of spinning Beyblade, and gets her around the jungle a lot quicker than some of her jungle counterparts. But something Lillia does really well is get around the map really quickly as well.
This is interesting. I wasn't sure if he was going to continue up to go for a potential dive on towards the relevant. Would have been dangerous, but nice sidestep on towards Stend. So it looks like everyone's just going to reset.
Parus going to chase down here for a while. Stend there with the Gleaming Quill healing up. Ice now the target. This is what we talked about. If you push forward... Oh, Zenith Blade back in from Parus. Okay, yeah, you did not want to do that, my dude. Seeing the angle to re-engage, but immediately has to flash away.
Yeah, Ice going to stop the reset as well. I was going to say, I think he can stick around for this. Still has a little bit of health, but both. You've got Nuke coming down to cover, and you've also got Sheo moving down towards this bottom side.
Yeah, Sheo maybe looking for the dive there. 113 covering up towards the top side. Sheo works his way towards the tri-brush. Can go untargetable, remember, with that call of the pack. So very good at tower diving. Sheo's going to get a Darking Dagger, send the dogs at Ice, just force them to walk all the way away from their tower.
Doesn't land that second Q. That's really where you get the big chunk down, and then the bleed is well can do a ton of work. So unfortunately not able to finish off Ice, but Ice moving back in underneath the tower to keep himself safe, knowing 113 is coming down. So won't lose out on too much in the grand scheme of things, but you can already see at least if Flakked can get those auto attacks down, you can very quickly turn this bot lane around.
Getting away from an Ashe so tricky when you are pushed up in a lane like that. But for now, no dice for either team. Sheo is going to get spotted on the ward that was placed there, I assume, by Nuke. Most commonly where we see the mid laners using their wards, just to spot out those Razor Beaks. Resets coming out from Flakked and Stend. They're going to head up towards the top side of the map with Grubs up in 30 seconds. Sheo will be very quick at doing them on the Naafiri. One of the benefits of having those mini pets with you in the jungle, similar to Yorick, where you can just use them to tank it up and they help you take down those objectives really quickly. With the TP invested though from Irrelevant, it means if they can chunk him out and force him back, he's going to lose a lot of time. It's always quite difficult to work your way through a Sion.
Yeah, I think at this stage it's more of a, hey, we're just going to handshake on the swap, go for the cross maps and look to just trade for plates. The Gnar a little bit less sturdy underneath the tower. Now you also aren't as potent on the dive for BDS as you are versus Heretics, but you can already see they're moving Stend down just to cover this and make sure he's able to collect the wave perfectly happy. So should be all fine, all said and done.
Does mean Flakked gets some solo XP, which he'll be very happy for. Gets towards that level 6 a little bit quicker. Sheo has spent all of this time taking those Void Grubs. Stend jumps in, stops Parus recall, also stops Ice's because Ice had to come across to make sure his support did not die, with Parus having burnt Flash earlier after Zenith blading in. Needs to be that little bit safer. Carlsen's now going to TP top. Flakked's working his way down towards the bot lane, and will have, we'll say, 20% of a level XP advantage as he comes back into the lane. Not massive.
No. I thought they would at least try and push out that bottom side a little bit more and then transition to top side, and even getting that reset off would have been somewhat nice, but at this stage it's just a case of trying to rewrite their lanes and make sure they're in an okay spot. Also, I don't think, to be honest, that Irrelevant's really going to be able to bully the fact that you're like not spending as much gold as you would like at any point in time, so I think you're fine.
You're all good overall. Both teams' honors basically even in this early game. You can see Nuke constantly hovering towards bot, being like, hey, I do have the Realm Warp, that's the name of it. I had Essence Shift in my name there for a second, but he can always quickly move down towards the bottom side. It's not the early symbiotic shoes that we've seen on things like the Galio or even on the Talia in the mid lane or the Cho'Gath. Stend once again looking for Parus. Parus a little bit slow with the Shield of Daybreak as Sheo's on his way. Parus slowed up, flash forward into the untargetability there from Sheo, but with 113 on his way, the Loathing Lullaby cleansed away by Flakked. Nuke comes across, Parus gets first blood. It's actually Ice who secures it. Stend having to flash away here as well. to save his AD carry.
The round warp from Nuke really messed it up for Heretics. Sheo then felt forced to go underneath the tower. He falls and everything kind of goes apart. Even Ice with a good Make It Rain kind of slowed the advance of Sheo, which kind of forced the hand of Heretics. So nicely done by BDS to turn it around.
Yeah, and Carlsen winning this top lane trade, but it's really two beefy tanks hitting each other. Unstoppable Onslaught comes out from Irrelevant to get himself, extricate himself from that situation. And, overall, good play from BDS. You could see Sheo realizing after he was basically dead that he needed to go for the tower dive, and for Ice to be very happy that he picked up the kill underneath that turret.
Yeah, I just keep your eyes on the Make It Rain though as Sheo tries to come in here. It's actually great because it gets such high value. It burns Sheo's flash, and if he was able to get in a little bit earlier, he would have been able to use that ultimate to close the distance first and then have the flash to try and follow on towards Parus here, but not having that flash available means that Heretics end up burning everything to try and make the play work, and they just get nothing for it.
Kamiloo gets about a plate and a half in the mid lane if you can count some small bonus out of that, but he's only about 200 gold ahead, so just that plate the advantage. Nuke didn't get anything out of it. There's a second plate for Kamiloo, so he will have a small lead in the mid lane, as will Carlsen in the top lane, but that's counteracted by the fact that Ice is about 500 gold ahead now and has a red buff on this MF.
I think
going to make it rain around the corner.
If you're putting this Naafiri behind though, she's just not going to have a fun time.
Yeah.
And this is definitely, like, you'll see it even when you have a carry in lane. The amount of games I've watched in like LCK or LPL where they will still just gift the kill to Naafiri to just get her up and rolling so she can start to snowball is incredible. But the fact that you're now sitting 0-1, you're 100 gold down, means that Sheo's just not going to have as much as he needs to get this game over in his favor. And this is kind of what we talked about coming in from the draft. Like, Heretics are not a team that are used to playing around their jungler. Like, we're not seeing, hey, we're pushing bot into invading and getting the lead that way, or trying to find even dives that are working in their favor. It's been, hey, maybe we can get a gank off here, maybe we can find something, but it hasn't really been a concrete, like, set play that they've gone for.
And it can be hard as well because Lillia is very quick at taking away her jungle camp. So even if you are deliberately pushing, you have to make sure that 113, that side of 113's jungle is available to you. You can take it away. Parus has his flashback up. Ice has both his summoners. There's the arrow onto Parus, into the charm, into the follow-up with the grand entrance. Charm comes back. Parus pulled back with Zenith Blade in, though. Solar Flare goes wide, and Sheo is on the board on the Naafiri.
Invulnerability coming through clutch there for Sheo, able to avoid the CC and also then Ice coming over the top with the bullet time. So Heretics now going to pick up the Void Grubs off the back of it. Wasn't sure if BDS, actually I was about to say they're going to contest, and here it comes.
You don't want Heretics to get all three of these grubs. Heretics realize they can't get all three of them, so we'll back away after taking one. Does mean they have the mites on their side, and Nuke and 113 will clear up the rest of this camp.
You're still going to get Carlsen getting a good amount of pressure on the bottom side. Relevant ulting down just to try and get there as quickly as possible, stop the plate from going over, but Carlsen should still get one with the demolish.
I think he gets two in the end. Minions helping him out. Irrelevant looking for a little bit of damage. Just the second plate going down, and Carlsen extends his lead to about 450 odd. The Chem Drake is alive. Would be BDS's second of the game if they can secure it. They're a little bit in the hole in terms of gold right now, but I would say it won't be too dismayed with how this early game has gone. Importantly though, Sheo has got the Eclipse and has the Hound's Pursuit put to sleep with a lilting lullaby, and doesn't have a way out of there. No flash. He goes to Dreamland and wakes up in a nightmare.
Yeah, the invulnerability can't save you there. It's already targeted you as the sleep goes down, so even popping the invulnerability, it still lights out for Sheo.
Just importantly, untargetability rather than invulnerability on the W. You can still be hit with AoEs and such, but you're not able to be targeted by any spells, right? So, as you say, can't get away from the damage. 100% right.
Lights out.
And,
Gone bye-bye.
Goes bye-bye. I have so many dog puns in my head. I'm just like holding myself back from using
I just want the hot dog skin. That's
the
all
hot dog skin would be great. If we can get the Pengu Garen skin at the same time. Who cares about silhouettes, guys? Come on, these guys are pro players. If they can't adjust to that.
Look, we're wearing the overshirts. We're breaking up the silhouettes already.
Exactly.
You know what? Then we can bring in the funky ones. It's perfect.
Irrelevant's going to match. Kamiloo's pushing the top lane. Still more plates going over to Heretics. They have been able to keep the gold relatively even after, even though they are a kill behind. Rod of Ages stacking up for Nuke and for Kamiloo. They're both at 3 stacks, about the same position in this game, but the Bloodthirst already complete for Ice. He is in a very strong spot on this MF.
Yeah, I don't really know how Heretics are kind of in a position to bring this one back. It's your Sheo has got a kill, sure, but it's like he's not really in a position to follow up on a lot of plays. BDS definitely the ones in control. And also the fact that when you get towards these next couple of objectives, like a third dragon in 3 minutes time, you have that really strong team fight, and Heretics are going to have to fight into it at a position where they're pretty good. Now Parus, they're looking for the pick on him thanks to that blast cone.
Chased down by the dogs for the moment, but won't be able to chase him down any further. Arrow onto 113 there. Stend going in with the quickness as well in the chase. The flash across the wall from 113. He lives. He lives. The volley blocked by Parus, and Nuke 113 survives, but for how much longer is the question. Starts to walk away. Ice coming in, opening up onto Sheo. Dodge this. Ice gets his third on the board.
The way Bambi fans hoped the movie had gone there, the deer just about able to get away from the hounds as Sheo falls, and a nice turnaround from BDS again. Like 113 barely escaping, just not enough damage in the tank. And now you got push in mid, you've got control over bot side. BDS just punishing these oversteps from Heretics once more.
Definitely are. Ice in such a strong spot overall. You can see Flakked just trying to match him. Ice happy enough to just push the wave in. About 1,000 gold lead now for BDS. And the next Drake up in 2.5 minutes. Dagda, which I expect will be the next point of call for these two teams. There is a Rift Tower before that if they want to fight a little bit earlier.
Yeah, I think the problem is this. The trios on the MF. When you start to move over towards that next objective and you've already got a second item that could potentially be coming through at that stage, like, it is very, very difficult for Heretics to fight. And we kind of talked about, hey, you could go for the Bard to interrupt. You could go for like a Leona or something like that to try and interrupt. But Parus beat you to the punch with the Leona pick, and with no Bard or Poppy or anything to speak of, Ice is just going to get that full bullet time. And he's a ton of champions that can set up that play for him. At least 113 not having the flash means it's less of that flash engage that the Lillia can oftentimes go for with the sleep, but you're still in a little bit of a precarious situation.
I'd say a lot of it. A lot of a precarious situation, yeah.
I didn't want to, like, look, after my outburst with the double kill and the Elder Dragon support, I've had to rein it in a bit. I need to make sure I'm not, like, going a bit too loose.
Also, this game hasn't been as hectic or as chaotic as the previous ones. This one a little bit more melodious rather than cacophonous. Parus looking for the damage here onto Stend. He'll jump away with that battle dance and escape for the moment. 10 seconds on the Rift Herald. 113 can just start it up himself if he so desires. Swell Seed tries to keep Sheo around. Blooming Blows going out as well, but there's the charm with the quickness. The arrow coming out as well, and 113 able to walk out using that lilting lullaby.
Still a pretty big ultimate use, and this Kamiloo might, not quite getting the knuckle from Irrelevant as he was about to get charmed, but BDS going to shift across. I wasn't sure how much Heretics wanted to try and fight for this with that Lillia ult being down, but looks like they are still very afraid of Ice right.
I mean, they've also used the Rakan ult, used the arrow, like two of their big pick tools. Maybe if Carlsen can find a Gnar, or you have Spirit Rush into Charm from Kamiloo, you could do something, but 113 will be able to secure the Smite. And next up is the Drake. 30 seconds away. Nuke just matching Carlsen's push here in the top lane. Gold leads in AD carry and jungle alongside support for BDS, whereas slight leads for Kamiloo and Carlsen, who've done a really good job of picking up plates wherever they can.
I don't know if picking the Sion as this target is the best.
I think Kamiloo agrees with you.
Yeah, he just got to back away. As BDS is just going to open up a mid-wave, 3 seconds until the dragon. You need to try and find some sort of pick, but it's just when you're in this position as Heretics, it's so difficult. You've even got Sion, Relevant now, starting to move back over towards his mid lane. Rifter are going to go down, so potential dragon for mid lane trade.
Losing Lullaby not available for 113. That Lillia ultimate still down. Nuke did TP to the mid lane after pushing up top. Stend looking for the engaged bullet time, stopped by Carlsen. Immediately they dive onto Ice, but Ice is yet to die. That Bloodthirst are healing him up so much. He'll exchange his life for Sheo's. Meanwhile, on the bottom side of the map, Nuke still putting the damage down into Carlsen, who has to flash away from the decimating smash. The arrow coming out from Flakked. He'll open up, but Irrelevant very tanky for the moment. Nuke will look for that spell Flux, but he really needs the Rune Prison to connect. Onto Flakked, gets the slow. More damage with the overload. In the end, a 2-2 exchange.
Still though, only a couple seconds now until everyone is back on the map, so both teams going to reset and try for a take two. You called it in the middle of the fight. Ice not getting that full bullet time off was crucial for that fight to go the way of Heretics. We see it here. I don't know if it was Stend getting the knock-up or if it was Carlsen with the Mega Gnar, but Heretics trying to play off a mid-wave and look for a pick as BDS are coming through. But as they stick around here, Irrelevant trying to regroup with his mid lane so then they can look for the play. But I'm going to keep my eyes on Ice because this could have been devastating, but was it the knock-up from Stend or was it Carlsen?
I feel like it's going to be Stend. Oh, never mind. Another knock-up coming out from Stend. Parus, the first target, down to half HP. Charm coming out from Stend as well as they dive onto Parus again, but the solar flare hits Kamiloo. Flakked opening up, Parus able to survive. Meanwhile, Irrelevant's on the backline, losing Lullaby. Flakked almost falls asleep, but he cleanses immediately. Kamiloo did take a brief nap, but is able to flash across the wall to survive. Carlsen with the Mega Gnar, not able to survive. BDS find 2 again, and will take their 3rd Drake of the game.
The CC from BDS was perfect there. Parus landing up the double on Stend and Kamiloo, and even Irrelevant repositioning to hit everyone that was in that bush. And now BDS, 3rd Dragon. This is much more confident gameplay from the BDS side.
It really is. Now they might look for the dive here. 113 coming across Kamiloo. No flash, no spirit rush. Sheo is here to defend. Flakked's on his way across as well. The arrow hits onto 113. Kamiloo looking for that charm. The realm warp that will get them all out. And Heretics cannot find their number. BDS now pushing through the mid lane. Ice will have a bit of time with this tower if he wants it. Instead, just backs away. Yeah,
BDS, the door was closing, but they do find a back window open. But we'll see here, right? Parus ends up going in, but Irrelevant gets the CC on towards Carlsen. Then you end up with Stend going that bit too far, but Kamiloo and Stend getting caught here. Irrelevant repositioning to lock up members in this pit as well, or in this bush, means that 113 goes forward, gets the sleep that he needs then as well. It's this CC chain that is crucial for BDS being able to pick up this fight. And even though you don't have things like the bullet time available, it's your backline consistently able to keep pace with the fight and find that consistent DPS.
Was that voracious Atakan spawning, or was that my stomach because we came out of the replay?
Why not both?
Oh, it could be both. It's true.
Yeah, it was a very loud noise either way. Oh, storm!
No, don't bring it back, man. Don't do it. We're not seeing Fiddle at the moment. Although there is a support Fiddle build going around at the current time that we might see perhaps later on today. Not going to see it in this series. Game 3. The winner goes, well, Heretics will go to 2 wins in total over Spring, whereas BDS would get their way to 3. For the moment, BDS in control of the game. Mostly because of those 3 dragons they have been able to secure. An Ocean Salt for them as well would be a very powerful tool at their disposal. They're trying to crack open this mid-tier 1 if they can do so, but at the moment, Flakked doing a good job of clearing out the waves. Kamiloo coming here to cover as he's pushed out bot. Irrelevant continuing to stack up 878 stacks on that Soul Furnace right now.
He's a big old boy, and it doesn't really get easier for Carlsen to try and get through him, as at this stage he's kind of just hit critical mass and it just continues to clear out waves, ignore your damage with that Soul Furnace and be on his merry way. BDS though, like a lot of fighting over this river control, and I think it's more for the Atakan, but it is leaving your mid lane a little bit vulnerable for Heretics and also giving Nuke access to this bottom side for that tier 1 as well.
Yeah, Ice just constantly pushing those waves in. Flakked is able to catch it in time, has the Runans complete now, so it's 2 items on that Ashe. Nuke can look for Kamiloo here. BDS do have first move towards it, but 113 will just step forward to make sure they get the tower. Arrow again. Watch out. 113, he eeps his way to safety. Stend's going to grand entrance and grand exit and get back towards this Tribush.
So BDS get what they came for. All they wanted was that bot side turret. Now they can continue to just keep up pressure, but this game is getting more and more difficult for Heretics. They're losing control of the map. Their picks aren't really coming around, and it's in positions like this where I think Heretics do actually just need to cross map. It's like that tower was going to go down regardless. Okay, cool, let's try and look for a play, maybe top or mid or something, but it is also difficult when Heist still has the flash, still has the cleanse, and you're like, okay, well, maybe if we try and make a play with Flakked or flash engage with Stend, we could make it happen, but it's still a lot of tools to invest to get anything to work.
The risk as well is if you try and make a play top lane, firstly, Sion, secondly, Atakan's up. So it's like if you invest 3 people up there, are you double TPing to try and get down to make sure that the Atakan is not secured by BDS?
Yeah, and that's what I mean. It's a rock and a hard place because you just lose out on the play at boss. You try and make the play mid, well, Ice has all these tools available to him, and as you say, you go for Sion, you're just kind of caught. And this is where this game feels so unplayable for Heretics because of the deficit they now find themselves in. It's not that big of a gold lead, but it's just the way the composition operates.
Yeah, 100% agree with you. I do think chucking some stuff out to burn things is always a good play, right? Like, use the quickness, use Rakan flash. It does work well in team fights, but it's not as important as a cleanse flash out of ice, you know? Carlsen is just going to ignore Irrelevant, who is living up to his name in terms of stopping that tower from going down, as Carlsen will be able to secure the second tower of the game for Heretics. Parus jumping in here, Solar Flare going wide. There's the quickness, there's the follow-up. A four-man charm as Nuke has to flash away. 113 stepping forward, bullet time coming out as well. In the end, both teams will be able to walk away. 30 seconds on the next Drake. Atakan's still a possibility, but unlikely.
Yeah, defensive ultimate from Ice just to buy space for his jungler, because if 113 went down as this dragon's about to spawn, there would be a very difficult contest for BDS to come through after that. But in this position now, at least they can try and fight again. It is no ultimate for the bot lane of BDS, but they still have at least some tools to try and fight with, whereas Heretics actually burned quite a bit in that engage.
Yeah, only didn't use the Hound's Pursuit, Sheo's ultimate. Gnar about a quarter of the way before he has that ultimate again. Grand entrance used by Stend, dodging away. Lilting Lullaby. You have to watch out for that from 113. Bullet time, about half of its cooldown left. Flakked about to have the arrow up as well. The Drake has spawned, would be sold for BDS if they can secure it. At the moment, they're focusing on that Scuttle Crab. 113 has 3 masks in his inventory. The Leandri's double haunting, guys, gives you such a spike of damage.
BDS lost control over mid, so Ice had to rotate to cover. Now Ice is in a bit of a precarious spot as Stend has that quickness very soon available with the flash.
Relevant very tanky though. It's down to half HP and burn his TP to get here in time to fight around the dragon. Sheo clearing out vision once again. Heretics pushing BDS back towards their jungle. Swell Seed wide again. 113 looking for that blue. Steps forward. Flash forward immediately. Charm doesn't land the blooming blow. Stend looking for the charm himself. Unstoppable Onslaught coming out from Irrelevant. Ice kills off Stend, but 113 is going to fall as well. Irrelevant forced up towards the top side. BDS now fighting a 3v4. Another charm cleansed away by Ice. He gets himself to safety, but now with no jungler can BDS contest because Carlsen's got that Gnar stacked up.
Yeah, Ice consistently had to go back towards mid, and Heretics end up playing into that space, so it makes it very difficult for that AD carry to regroup with their team. They find the pick they need, and Heretics will stop the dragon stacking for the moment for BDS.
Yeah, really well fought from Heretics overall. Just poking and prodding at Irrelevant, getting down to half HP. As you say, the mid lane prior meant that Ice had to move across. We'll have another look.
Yeah, you can see here, so Flakked basically gets first move onto this play. 113 going a little bit too aggressive, didn't actually end up using that ultimate on the play. And then Ice in a position where Irrelevant is now taken out of the fight. He doesn't really have anyone to hit onto or anyone to hold these members of place, and Kamiloo gets a good charm onto Ice to burn that, but it doesn't matter at this stage. It's the way Heretics were transitioning from mid into river, just constantly keeping Ice separated from the team.
And when Ice is the majority of the team's gold lead as well,
Yeah.
well, he's more than the team's gold lead. So only 500 gold ahead, and he's 2,000 in the advantage in that bot lane matchup. Keeping him away from the fight does make the most sense. 113 a little bit overeager to start that play, and we saw that a bit in game 1 as well. Remember when Heretics came back from 14,000 gold behind. Maybe for BDS, you don't really want a repeat of that, let's be honest. Nowhere near as far in the advantage so far here, but have another 4 minutes to wait. Unstoppable Onslaught coming down towards Flakked. He'll flash away early. The Solar Flare hits him. He does have the cleanse. The bullet time comes out, and Flakked will hold on to that summoner.
Yeah, kind of everything coming a little bit late there, right? So the Realm Warp wasn't quite there in time. Irrelevant wasn't quite there in time. Even the bullet time from Ice wasn't on time. So now Heretics holding on towards mid tower.
BDS have sent an Age trying to take down this mid tower. Arrow going in. There's the quickness. Follow into the Gnar, into the wall. Kamiloo finds the first to fall. 113 will die, as will Stend. Irrelevant's going to come back from the dead. Kamiloo looking for a little bit more, dodges away from the Zenith Blade with that Spirit Rush. Heretics find 2 again. Their eyes immediately turn towards the Baron, but I think that might be a little bit greedy.
They want to try and go for Ice here. He stepped forward. Carlsen moving in.
Ice still has the flash. He will use it to get away from the boomerang. Sheo still on the chase. Hawk shot for a bit of vision. Nuke trying to get that movement speed away. Sheo doing everything he can. Gets the shield out from the Seraphs. Goes untargetable. And Nuke goes down. Kamiloo gets the shutdown. And then Atakan on the menu for Heretics.
So they may not be able to get the objective on the top side, but a kill on that bottom side is going to be very happy for Heretics to collect. You can see Parus starting to move over to get vision control down in case this Atakan suddenly turns into a reset and a potential play at Baron, but Heretics, they found the fight that they needed, and it was a Stend Carlsen combo that really sealed the deal here. We'll get it as we start to go through. So ultimate on towards Irrelevant keeps him locked down, but Stend, the triple knockup into Carlsen, the immediate setup on the back line, just perfectly encapsulates the fight that they need. And Kamiloo just trying to go forward to get a little bit more damage down, but Heretics have already got the damage that they need done.
Great stuff, and then the wrap around, the loop here to try and defend their mid-tier one. Ice does get it, wants that little bit of gold, and then he gets out, but Nuke is unable to escape the clutches of Heretics.
Yeah, Nuke just going to get chased down, and now you've got Atakan, you're back out onto the map. I imagine it's going to be a case of trying to push out sides for a second, then look to group on towards mid lane as Heretics, and this is where you're actually in a position to try and look for picks. Looks like they're going to send Carlsen towards that top side, just to make sure he can pick it up, as 5 members of BDS are still strong in this mid lane, but still have to be careful of a BDS engage.
Double onslaught going out, they're going for Flakked, it has no flash, remember. Stend forced up towards the top side, there's the quickness from him. The false life still sitting on Heretics, Irrelevant charmed up, and he'll go down. Bullet time opens up, but only on Carlsen, who finds another Gnar and lands 1-1-3 and Nuke into the wall. Sheo diving deep, 1-1-3, going to fall. Parus getting chased out as well, Irrelevant's gone down. Parus has to flash the wall. Heretics haven't lost anyone, only Carlsen's false life. They're pushing for the mid-tier 1. And they will be able to secure it. I think Kamiloo's going to get it. And then Baron as well. Heretics have flipped this game on its head in the last 3 minutes.
Yeah, Heretics starting to keep their eyes on the prize here. It's a couple of kills, but it's the objectives that are going their way. They stopped the Dragon stacking from BDS. Now Atakan, now the Baron. And what in theory should be, decent opportunities at fights for BDS, is just Heretics catching key members as BDS overextend.
A lot of credit to Heretics as well with how well they've given experience to their solo laners. Kamiloo is 2 levels ahead of Nuke right now.
Yeah, but as you see, Flakked is the jump person, but Stend is now getting 1-1-3 and Ice out of this fight. They're not really doing anything. The TP from Carlsen looks a little dicey for a second, but he has that Atakan buff, so he withdraws not before he gets the ultimate off, and it's, hey, who is getting damage off? And every single time it's Heretics being able to consistently get their DPS into positions to DPS, whereas Ice and Nuke are spending a lot of time trying to follow up on these fights or follow up on these engages without having the tools to just lock people down from them.
It always feels like Ice and Nuke got a long way away from where the engage is. It becomes very hard for them to actually find avenues to approach. Dragon started now. Charm onto Irrelevant. It's a lot of his health bar. Carlsen going up towards the Mega, lands the wallop as well. Meanwhile, the Dragon is being taken while all of this is happening. BDS getting forced out in a 5v2 in essence, as Kamiloo and Carlsen able to chunk away at Irrelevant's HP bar. The Baron remains on Heretics for 2 more minutes. They have a split pushing Sheo down towards that bottom side. Solo player on Flakked, has the cleanse, gets away from the bullet time. Good charm as well from Kamiloo to stop that bullet time in its tracks.
It did get the wave though, which is kind of crucial here for BDS, because ideally... Oh, hang on.
Spirit Rush across the wall. Orbit Deception not going to be enough. Nor the volley. Irrelevant survives with 150 HP. Kamiloo now rushing forward, looking for Ice. They jump onto him, and Ice is defrosted. 1-1-3 next on the menu. A 2-man sleep will be enough to keep him alive, but not enough to save his towers. Meanwhile, Sheo's just been pushing in the bot side this entire time.
This game has become a hokey pokey for Kamiloo. He's going in and out and catching everyone on BDS. And now with the TP from Kamiloo towards the mid lane, Heretics want to take down BDS right now.
The early game was not what they wanted, but Heretics have bounced back. The first Nexus tower has been razed to the ground, and Irrelevant can't clear out this wave. It's all on Nuke to really do so. 1-1-3 going through with the blooming blows, but can't get onto the backline at all, and can't get out of the fountain. Irrelevant down as well. They're getting married! Heretics will pick up the win and take their 2nd series in the LEC Spring.